Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to do a bit of a Battlefront update. We're going to be talking about the new Berserker card in Star Wars Battlefront, how it performs, when you want to use it, how to unlock it. We'll also be talking about the new DLC news regarding the Bespin expansion and Lando as one of the new playable heroes. Alright, but let's start off with this Berserker card. You can unlock it in the hut contracts just like you will with any new unlockable weapon in the game. It costs 8,000 credits to get, and then you have to perform a task in order to actually unlock it after you bought it. And the task for this one is you have to reach level 3 on any trait card 5 times. And those are the little bubbles you'll see in the lower left hand corner over your mini map. Basically, you have to get a number of kills without dying in any game mode. It's easiest to do this on 12-player game modes. In the bigger 48-player game modes, it's a lot harder because there's a lot more mayhem and craziness going on. Also, you can't just hop into an ATST or grab a hero and just get tons of kills and get it that way. You actually have to be playing as a soldier. So I highly recommend trying the 12-player game modes. I was able to do it in pretty much 2 matches there. The personal shield can be a great aid to this because you might have 2 bubbles. You're really close to getting rank 3 on your trait, and then you get yourself into a sticky situation. Just activate that personal shield and get out of there as ASAP, and then re-engage and try and get that rank 3. Not too hard to do. I also recommend running the personal shield once you get the Berserker trait unlocked. Now, running with the Berserker trait, initially I was pretty underwhelmed with it. I tried it out actually on 48-player game modes, and I think that's basically where you don't want to use that card because you have to get it to rank 3 in order for it to be really good. Berserker trait at rank 1 and 2 I feel is almost worthless. In fact, the negative side of it doesn't really outweigh the benefits you get from it until rank 3 in my opinion. So what does this trait card actually do? Well, when you take damage and your character is not at full health, your blaster will do a lot more damage, hence the whole Berserker thing. You take some damage, you go crazy, and you start doing a lot more damage. In theory, you're supposed to like just go on these massive killing sprees. However, you're pretty flimsy, and generally speaking, when you start taking damage in Star Wars Battlefront, you're about to die, or you do die. So there's just not that many situations where you're going to be running around with half health expecting to survive a firefight. You might kill somebody with 1 blast, but they're also going to kill you with 1 blast. So at rank 1 and 2, you're basically a glass cannon. It's not really that valuable. Not to mention, it significantly reduces the rate at which your health recharges, which you might look at as a benefit because it gives you more time to use your damage bonus, right? But in most cases, I look at it as a negative. However, when you hit rank 3, and that's the big caveat with this one, it's one of the best traits in the game, provided that you can get it up to rank 3, and that will give you basically double health. It gives you 50% damage resistance across the board, which means you can tank a crap load of damage. And what the best part of it is that it throws people off. They shoot you the normal amount of times they would expect they need to shoot somebody to kill them, and then stop and realize that you're not dead yet because you've got twice as much health. In fact, the first time I ran into a player with rank 3 Berserker, I thought he was using some sort of health mod. I thought he was hacking in the game. I was like, what the heck? I just shot the crap out of that guy and he didn't die. On top of that, the first time I got killed by somebody who was damaged with Berserker and they killed me with like 1 burst of some weapon from long range, I was thinking like, what the heck was that? That was total bullshit. Nope, that's the Berserker card at its finest. And a lot of people might say it's actually overpowered, but I would disagree because you have to get it to rank 3 in order for it to be overpowered, in which case you have to play pretty conservatively up until then. In fact, in many ways, you're a little bit weaker until you get to that rank 3. And it's not an easy task to do. In fact, very, very difficult to do in 48-player game modes, not to mention the Berserker trait is going to be far less useful in 48-player game modes because even though you have double health, there's plenty of things in, say, Walker Assault or the bigger game modes that can kill you. A lot more players, grenade spam galore. You're not going to survive that long regardless of your 50% damage mitigation. However, in those 12-player infantry focus games where you can get down to 1-on-1 firefights or 1-on-2 firefights, it's going to be insanely useful. And again, the biggest thing is just throwing people off. They think they're about to kill you with one well-placed volley of burst fire or something like that, and you're still standing afterwards and you take them down. It can really throw some people off. Plus, the extra damage certainly doesn't hurt either. But the big question, I guess, at the end of the day is, would you rather have a trait that is not particularly good at rank 1 and 2 and then becomes amazingly good at rank 3, which you may or may not get during a game mode, or you may get it just very briefly? Or would you rather have a trait that is really good at rank 1, even better at rank 2, and even better than that at rank 3, like when I run with the scout trait, which keeps me off the minimap? It's really hard to say. I feel like I could do overall just as good with the scout trait. Yes, it doesn't have as amazing of a finale as Berserker does, but it's useful right from the start. At rank 1, it's still incredibly good. There's definitely a philosophy to it, and I think you can do some of the coolest stuff with Berserker at rank 3, but overall, generally speaking, I think I'll still stick to scout for a lot of things, because Berserker just really controls the way that you have to play the game, and scout gives you a little bit more flexibility. If you want to be more aggressive and not be worried so much about what rank your trait gets up to, then you can do that with scout with no worries. But with Berserker, you always want to stay alive and you always want to be hitting that rank 3 trait. Alright, now how about that DLC news? We all know that Bespin is going to be the next DLC for Star Wars Battlefront. That's Cloud City, for any of you who are not huge Star Wars nerds. There's going to be 4 new maps with the most popular game modes available on those maps. More blasters, new star cards, new game modes, 2 new characters, which are Lando Calrissian and Dengar. Dengar is one of the bounty hunters that you see in The Empire Strikes Back just briefly for a few seconds on the bridge of the Star Destroyer. As to what either of the heroes' abilities are, your guess is as good as mine. I really have no idea at this point, but I am looking forward to playing both of them. Then, of course, we are getting the Death Star DLC next after that. All they've confirmed for this is that there's going to be 2 new characters and more. And then the unannounced DLC, which will also contain 2 more characters. Now, people have been theorizing that this unannounced DLC will be themed around the Star Wars Force Awakens, or the basically more updated, newer universe content, which would be really interesting. Obviously, DICE has not confirmed anything on that, so we'll just have to wait and see. And as for the overall state of Star Wars Battlefront, it's still got a very healthy player base, especially on console. PC, it's certainly died down a bit. There's also hackers on PC quite frequently, which is unfortunate. I don't know how well their anti-cheat systems are dealing with them, but I tried to play some of the bigger game modes today, and there was a hacker in there, and they couldn't seem to get rid of him. So, and it was obvious blatant hacking. The guy was just one-shotting people across the map, getting like 150, 160 kills, with the next guy below him at like 15 kills or 20 kills or something. It was totally insane. So that kind of sucks for the PC side of things. It's also a little bit tricky to get into certain game modes. Luckily, the new way to search for game modes has made it easier to get into 12-player game modes or 48-player game modes. You just can't be as specific about what kind of game mode you want to get into. I hope this video serves as a good introduction to the Berserker trait card. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of it, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.